we need to do is to inject more energy and vigor in the petitions committee headed by the Honorable Nimrod, and we will assist them to do so. We cannot change the law because we are not moving fast enough. Yes, Junet.
Honorable Speaker, we stand as you directed. But Mr. Speaker, the matter is more holistic. Mr. Speaker, if you look at statements or even statements, there are many statements that have not been replied to. Mr. Speaker, if you take a case like what Honorable DK has just raised, somebody has lost his life or her life, and a year down the line, there is no response to that death. Mr. Speaker, it looks like the people who are responsible to give the explanations, that's the executive, are not taking this matter very serious, Mr. Speaker. That this response, this is the only place they can be held accountable, Mr. Speaker. And our mandate as Parliament is very clear. Legislation, oversight, and representation, Mr. Speaker. There is no any other organ that can oversight the executive, Mr. Speaker. So when we are asking for these questions, it is not a favor they are doing. It is a constitutional mandate that they're supposed to execute, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to enforce it properly. I know my colleagues are from retreat, but don't feel like you are government. You are members of Parliament. We have to oversight the executive. You can just take Mandasi there and thank them for meeting them. Thank you very much.
Ndindi Nyoro, we'll go back to order number 6. Did I see Ndindi? Yes. You go back to order number 6. In fact, order number 5. Lay the report on the table and go to order number 6 and give your notice of motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay the following papers before the House: the report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2023.
Now go ahead with the notice of motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give the notice of the following motion: that pursuant to the provisions of Article 1132 of the Constitution and Standing Order 153, that this House adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2023, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 20th February 2024, and approves the mediated version of the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, that is National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2023. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ndindi. Yes, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, the Chair Budget is purporting to have laid a paper, and I'm only seeing him with one sheet of paper. So where is the paper that he laid? he laid it on his desk.
Chairman, have you laid the paper on the table? Yeah?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yes. As you are aware, the papers are already laid.
Okay. We go back to order number 7. I saw Gaceri walk in. Member for Kirinyaga. Jerry, you are late. I've called you twice.
My apologies, Honorable Speaker. I had paid a courtesy call to the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, and my senior here is trying to distract me. Honorable Speaker, I rise, I rise to request...
The Conga, you shall not distract Jerry. Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to request for a statement regarding the death of the 23 persons after consuming illicit brew in Kirinyaga County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the death of 23 persons after consuming illicit brew in Kangai Village, Kirinyaga County. Honorable Speaker, over the years, the country has witnessed various incidences where people lose their lives after consuming illicit and adulterated alcoholic drinks. The most recent occurrence happened in Kangai Village in Kirinyaga County on 6th of February 2024, where 23 persons died while several others lost their sight after consuming illicit alcohol suspected to have expired and with a high concentration of ethanol. It is feared that the death toll may rise since conditions of victims who are receiving treatment has been deteriorating. Honorable Speaker, there has been an escalation of trade in illicit and adulterated liquor, proliferation of counterfeit alcoholic brands, mushrooming of liquor outlets operating without proper licensing, increase in underage drinking, and the rise in deaths attributable to illicit liquor in the country. The situation calls for strict implementation of the regulatory framework on alcoholic promotions, licensing, and treatment and rehabilitation of addicts as provided for under the Alcoholic Drinks Control Act 2010 in order to mitigate the adverse effects of illicit brews. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. Could the chairperson provide a report regarding the status of investigations into deaths of the victims of the illicit brew in Kangai Village, Kirinyaga County in February 2024? Could the chairperson provide information on whether the owners of the outlets from where the brew was obtained have been apprehended and prosecuted? And could the chairperson explain the measures the government has put in place to ensure strict compliance with Alcoholic Drinks Control Act 2010 and effective implementation of alcohol control policies in regions mostly affected by consumption of illicit brews? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Njeri. Tongoyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the issue of the statement, I will ask for 2 weeks to get a response from the ministry. But, Mr. Speaker, I want just to say one thing.
I will not give you 2 weeks.
Sorry?
I will not give you 2 weeks. I'll give you 1 week. 23 lives lost.
Well guided, Mr. Speaker.
You should be having facts with you within the shortest time possible.
Well guided, Speaker. But I want just to say one thing, Mr. Speaker. Actually, the issue of these menace of alcohol and killing Kenyans is becoming an issue that should concern all of us, Mr. Speaker. The issue, as much as we want to say, is the issue of the ministry and the police. We all know the issue of the licensing of illicit of these brews is a function of the county, and it's an issue that we must actually start conversation, Mr. Speaker. No, just let me finish. What I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, we have a big problem that we must, as a House, start looking our laws, because the Constitution, the 2010 Constitution, referred the function of licensing to the counties. And that is what probably is giving our officers even a hard time to enforce such kind of a... So it's an issue that a conversation that we should start as this House, Mr. Speaker. But 1 week obliged, Mr. Speaker.
Unit.
Mr. Speaker, I listened to the chair carefully, Mr. Speaker, and he's saying that the licensing of bars is a function of county government. But, Mr. Speaker, county governments license bars. They don't license illicit brews. They don't license changa. They don't license. This is an issue of enforcement of the law, Mr. Speaker, and it squarely lies with the Ministry of Interior and Provincial Administration, Mr. Speaker. And as you directed, let the chairman produce an answer in 1 week, Mr. Speaker. Let us not scapegoat that this county, it is an issue of enforcement of the law, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Rendikiri. Order, honorable members, the conversations are too loud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the chairman of security is out of order because this is death we are talking about. And the brew they took came from the police station, which is within his mandate. And that's what the Honorable Women Rep of Kirinyaga is talking about. So you cannot now run away from his responsibility. Let him go get down to the business and give us the correct content. He should not divert our attention.
Thank you. Majority Leader, I'll give you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I am constrained but to agree with the member for Buri and the Honorable Junet that indeed there is absolutely nothing wrong with counties licensing bars. This particular incident in Kirinyaga, Honorable Speaker, and maybe the chair is not aware, already officers, police officers, have been arrested and charged in court because they stole exhibits that were being stored in a police station and sold them to the person now who sold this alcohol to people in a bar. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the problem is not just a problem that we can point at the county governments in terms of licensing of bars. It begins with law enforcement by the police. And Honorable Speaker, the chair, as a person oversighting the police, must be emphatic in ensuring that his committee summons the Inspector General of Police to say what they are going to do to ensure that the police indeed do their work in enforcing the law as it is. Secondly, and more importantly, Honorable Speaker, I am hoping that the chair, other than pointing fingers, will take this opportunity through the committee in charge of Interior to now draft a national government level legislation touching on the licensing of manufacturers of alcohol, because that will not be left to the county government. It is up to us, and that is what I would have wanted to hear the chair speak to, that his committee now will draft legislation that will regulate. How do you even regulate the movement of ethanol and methanol in this country? Because, Honorable Speaker, this, what we are calling illicit brews, are not illicit brews. It is simply ethanol and methanol being mixed with water and being sold to people as alcohol. And that is what our committee in charge of Interior should be working on, legislation that will ensure that we regulate who sells ethanol, how is it sold. Because, Honorable Speaker, the sale of ethanol is one of the most lucrative illicit trade. The road between Namanga and